It was a sunny day in Tampa, Florida on May 23rd of 2018. With a high temperature of 86 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 77, it seemed like the perfect day to go for a stroll. And that's exactly what 24-year-old Ohio native Jessica Robinault and her soon-to-be 2-year-old daughter Lilia did. Jessica was pushing Lilia in a stroller along South Tampa's famous roadside Bayshore pedestrian walk, a famous destination often frequented by locals, known for its beautiful view of the Hillsborough Bay. It was generally known to be an area to drive cautiously in, with a posted speed limit of 40 miles per hour due to the large number of pedestrians frequenting the sidewalks and crossing the street. Everything appeared to be going great for Jessica, who was beginning her life with her husband David and her new daughter Lilia. As Jessica pushed her daughter in her stroller, she made the decision to cross to the other side of Bayshore Boulevard. However, unbeknownst to Jessica, only a few blocks away, a black 2018 Mustang GT had sped up to over 102 miles per hour. With the car traveling over 70 miles above the speed limit, Jessica barely had any time to react before the car slammed into her and her daughter. Jessica was killed almost instantly by the impact, while Jessica's daughter Lilia would be rushed to the hospital and pass away a day later. The case would gain international attention and outrage over the 2 lives lost and the shocking details that would later be revealed relating to the teenage driver behind the crash. Almost immediately after the crash, authorities and the outraged public attempted to figure out how such a horrible tragedy could occur. An investigation concluded that Jessica legally crossed the street and did everything that she was supposed to. However, general complaints had been made relating to Bayshore Boulevard prior to the crash due to the area's alleged open street policy allowing for pedestrians to cross and congregate in the street as they wanted. A handful of locals in the area complained that this could be a risk for an accident. However, in this case, it was later proven that Bayshore Boulevard's open street policy was not the cause of this crash. A speed recorder recovered from the driver's vehicle revealed that the Mustang GT involved in the accident had been going at high speeds and driving recklessly moments prior to the crash. The driver of the vehicle was 18-year-old Tampa Catholic High School student Cameron Herron, who authorities claimed had a history of speeding and reckless driving. And it was later revealed that Cameron had been illegally racing fellow Tampa Catholic High School student John Baranu. Cameron Herron and his brother Tristan had met up with John Baranu earlier that day to drag race. Tristan accompanied Cameron as a passenger in his Mustang as he raced John Baranu at incredibly high speeds. As the two were racing, Baranu spotted Jessica and her daughter ahead of him and managed to swerve out of the way as Cameron attempted to use his brakes. But due to the high speeds Cameron's car was going at, he was unable to slow down in time and collided with Jessica and her daughter head-on. The fact that both boys had the intention to street race, coupled with Cameron's history of reckless driving, proved that this situation was not a freak accident, but rather a series of careless decisions that led to tragedy. Both Cameron Herron and John Baranu were charged each with 2 counts of vehicular homicide and 1 count of illegal street racing. If convicted, both boys faced decades in prison. John Baranu and his attorneys took this risk into consideration and decided to cut a plea deal with the prosecutors. Baranu decided to plead guilty to the charges against him and receive 6 years in prison, followed by 15 years of probation, whereas Cameron decided to go to trial. Cameron's bail was initially set at $200,000 by the judge, but Cameron's defense would argue that this price was high and Cameron was quote-unquote not a danger to the community despite the fact that he had killed 2 people only a few months prior. Cameron's defense also tried to seek permission from the judge for Cameron to be able to drive to school and see friends while he was out on bail. The judge denied Herron's request to drive but would eventually grant him permission to go visit his friends in the Hillsborough area and lowered his bail to $50,000. In the months to come, the long trial would begin as the jury heard an emotional statement from the husband and father of the 2 victims.
The mental anguish and physical pain of their death, along with this entire process, has sent my health spiraling.
Cameron's defense tried to use a variety of tactics to get their client acquitted of the charges brought against him. Some of these tactics included attempts to prove that evidence of the car's speed was obtained illegally by police, and that Cameron at the age of 18 was too young to understand right from wrong. Thankfully, these attempts from Cameron's defense proved unsuccessful and he was found guilty of all charges brought against him. The judge took Herron's history of reckless driving into account and eventually sentenced him to 24 years in state prison. Cameron and his defense would go on to try and appeal the sentence, but for many it seemed like justice had finally been served. The crime and subsequent trial brought mixed reactions, with the locals of the area and majority of the public being fairly satisfied with Cameron Herron's sentence. The case, however, gained attention and a much different reaction from users of the social media site TikTok. On TikTok, many users posted videos and fan cams defending Cameron Herron and criticizing his 24-year sentence. TikTok getting involved with and defending criminals is not a new thing, where in the past, users have posted fan videos of killers such as Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy. Generally, if users of the site consider a criminal attractive enough, then their crimes apparently don't matter. And that's what appears to be the case with Cameron Herron. One of the more popular posts on TikTok defending Cameron Herron racked up over 2 million likes. Now, this TikTok is absurd for a variety of reasons, but the main one is the caption that says, quote-unquote, chances should be given and he deserves it. Cameron Herron was cited in the past for reckless driving on multiple occasions. The only reason he has so much attention this time is because his antics killed somebody. He's faced legal trouble for his driving in the past and was made aware of the consequences of his actions and chose to continue them anyway. He's on at least his 4th chance by now, and 2 people are dead. Many people on TikTok that are defending Cameron have taken the accidents happen stance on the matter and believe that he just made a genuine mistake. This is blatantly false. Although Herron may not have intended to kill Jessica and her daughter, he had been told on multiple occasions that his driving could hurt or kill someone and still chose to drive recklessly anyway for his own amusement. Cameron was aware of what could happen and took the risk anyway for no good reason, meaning that this was not some unfortunate accident, but rather a case of disgusting negligence and a lack of care for the well-being of others. Unfortunately, the TikTok we watched was not a rare occurrence. As mentioned previously, hundreds of TikToks were posted in defense of Cameron Herron, racking up millions of likes in total. Another big TikTok relating to the matter posts a crying emoji over the fact that Cameron Herron will be released from prison in the year 2045. The sympathy for Cameron over the length of his prison sentence is ridiculous because Jessica and her 2-year-old daughter have an infinite sentence. They'll never get to live the rest of their lives and are dealing with far worse than what Cameron Herron is facing. The fact that over 300,000 people fail to see that is insane. The videos supporting Cameron got so out of hand that musician Charlie Puth had to reply to one of the posts requesting that his songs are not used in videos defending him. Users of TikTok have cited Cameron's perceived attractive appearance as a reason for them supporting him. Regardless of how attractive these people think Cameron Herron is, he killed 2 people and nothing will change that fact. If you think his appearance is more important than his actions, then you probably need help. And if you think that it's just TikTok that's supporting this killer, then you're sadly mistaken. Hashtags were created on Twitter for Cameron, and the Facebook pages of the Florida governor and lead prosecutor of the case were flooded with messages supporting Cameron. On an hour-long video uploaded to YouTube showing the pre-trial over Zoom, majority of the comments sympathize with Herron. He was so nice to his friends and family. He never hurt anyone physically or verbally, even to animals. He spent his summer helping his friends with studying. He only made 1 accident. That should not end his life. If we can't afford the victim a chance, doesn't mean we can't afford Cameron a chance. We all need at least a chance in our life. Forgiving is the key for peace. Once again, Cameron had several chances where he knowingly put people's lives at risk. This isn't some small mistake. This is a pattern of behavior on his part, and he's killed a mother and daughter. Saying it was just an accident doesn't change that fact. His poor decisions killed 2 people, and quite frankly, Cameron Herron is out of chances. This mother and daughter will never get another chance, and this commenter has the audacity to beg for Cameron to receive another chance. And sadly, this isn't even close to the worst comment. A poor mother and her daughter were tragically killed, and millions of people on social media are sympathizing with the killer and talking about how they find him cute and attractive. This whole situation and the internet's response to this can be summarized with one word: privilege. Although that word is thrown around a lot, I think it truly applies in this situation. Cameron Herron was a teenager who most likely was never told no throughout his life and had access to a pretty nice car. With this car, he decided to risk the lives of others so he could race, and was confronted about this on repeated occasions and told about the dangers, but it never seemed to faze him. Jessica and Lilia Robinault were a young mother and daughter whose only poor decision was to go outside on a beautiful day, and now they're dead, deprived of a life they'll never get back. Cameron Herron got 24 years in prison, in which he'll probably get out before that and have decades of his life left to live. But for some reason, people on social media can only think of his well-being and happiness. If this wasn't an attractive rich white kid, then the public opinion would be much more harsh on him and he'd probably get a worse sentence. Regardless of how someone looks or how much money they have, killing 2 innocent people is killing 2 innocent people. Cameron Herron went to a good school, had a nice car and clothes, and a loving family. family. And even with all of that, he still wasn't satisfied with what he had. He had to race with no regard for the lives of others just so he could be entertained. He made multiple incredibly poor decisions in his short life, and with his most recent and hopefully last poor decision, Cameron Herron's privilege could not save him from the consequences of his actions. If this fact upsets you, then you should reconsider your stance on this situation and put your energy into defending the innocent victims and their family. Even 24 years is not a great enough sentence for what Cameron Herron did.